Someone once said that any publicity is good publicity, and I guess having hate comments means we're famous. We are back this week with some new reactions, deals, Hall of Fame players, and college baseball updates. As I'm sure you know, I'm your host, Katie Pfeffer, and I am here with our amazing panel of Kaden, Riley, Drew, and Jackson. First up, we have officially made it, guys. Our first ever hate comments. Yes. Does anybody have anything to say about this man with a hot dog as their Instagram profile?
Yeah, I think it just really means that we've made it. Like, we're out there now. Because, like, we don't have that many followers, but, you know, with the hashtags and everything, like, it really puts us out there. And that means people that don't follow us are seeing our videos and leaving hate comments. So, like, whenever I saw that, I saw the good in it.
Some could say we're in the big leagues now.
We're here.
I agree. And Kaden brought up an interesting point when he saw this comment.
Yeah, what's his name? And who's the most? Ben.
Ben.
Who's the most famous person?
See you, Ben.
Who's the one person touching all bases follows besides us?
It's Ben Rice.
Ben Rice.
Ben Rice, yeah.
So I think this is Ben Rice burner account.
Yeah, exactly.
Show yourself.
He comes on and he just hates on baseball, like college student baseball takes. That sounds like something Ben Rice would do.
I mean, I think we finally.
Whoa, the Ben Rice I know.
Ben Rice has recognized us.
Ben Rice has recognized.
We have offended Ben Rice.
We have done it.
Yes.
We've done it. It's
But
over.
anyways, that's not our only hate comment. We have one more, and it is from MKK Sports Media. I believe that's our host that just left us.
Yeah, she's not here.
Is that Maura?
I don't know who that is.
Maura
Yeah,
Kane,
we definitely
Kelly
know who
Sports
that is.
Media. Is that you? Huh?
Yeah, whoever did that comment, we know who you are.
We had to kick her out
Yeah.
because of the slander she had on the Instagram.
That's why she's not here today.
Yeah, Maura has been fired due to inappropriate.
1 game suspension.
Oh, we got a B-roll cut tomorrow.
B-roll golfers.
Well, anyways, with that said, go follow our Instagram. We just started it back up. We've been posting a lot, so go follow. It's at touching.all.bases. But now that we've addressed our hate comments, we can finally get into one of our favorite segments, Deal or No Deal. In case you forgot, this is where we discuss all the latest deals and potential signings and trades, aka the no deals. So first up, we're going to talk about our favorite, the Dodgers.
Yes.
So I want to open this one up solely for one reason. And this is because this is a word that represents people who goes to the Dodgers very well. Cowards. Straightforward to the point, they are cowards. If you want the easiest way to get a ring in this modern day baseball age, you go to the Dodgers. It's that simple. You have guys, if you're a star player in the league, you have guys that have about the same amount of talent you do that the rest of the league is dying to have. And it's a shame to the game that this is happening, that we have, let's not call them super teams, let's call them mega teams, because at this point, that's what they are. They've gone beyond the point of like the Yankees or the Braves a few years ago. They have hit a mark that no other team has done before. I mean, you could probably compare the Dodgers to maybe certain teams like all-time guys. And that's how bad baseball has gotten in the past few years. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to win a ring, you go to the Dodgers. That's what you do.
Yeah, in the span of this episode and last episode, they have signed Sasaki, Scott, and Kirby Yates. Scott had a 1.77 ERA, and Yates had a 1.17 ERA last season. So that just added, they already had a super stacked rotation.
Yeah.
They just added
Fourth best in
the MLB. They just added to their super stacked bullpen. So there, in that entire pitching staff, there are just no holes. And the thing with him saying, if you go there, you're a coward, Sasaki especially, because he didn't sign. Whenever players go to LA, it's usually for the money. It's usually for the big contracts. Sasaki didn't get paid because of the international bonus pool. Sasaki went just to take the easy way out and get a ring. So he is absolutely that.
I'll actually respond on that real quick. I actually kind of disagree with Sasaki being a coward, because I feel like the deep ties, for him to go to the Dodgers, I think it's the deep ties with the Japanese teams.
He said in his press conference that didn't play a factor.
It doesn't play a factor.
It didn't play a factor. So.
Wow, so yeah.
Jackson, did you play airsoft growing up or watch airsoft videos growing up?
I watched a few. Never
I
played
watched
any.
videos. Drew, did you play airsoft?
I loved airsoft growing
In my
up.
neighborhood, airsoft was huge, and so all my friends loved it, and they got all the best guns and best equipment and all the best, like, everything was like so top notch, and I didn't care enough to like spend a ton of money on airsoft, but I got a gun so I could like play with my friends and stuff. And so like I would get lit up every single time because they had these like machine gun, like assault rifle ones, and I would just kind of like I had one you had to like load it every time you would shoot and stuff. And so I feel like that's like the Dodgers. Like they just have so much better resources and so much more equipment. It's just not fair, not fun for the rest of the league.
I disagree with some of the things that the panel's saying, and I agree with some of the things, but I do have a letter for Commissioner Robert Manfred, if I could read this.
So good.
Talks with
Dear MLB Commissioner Robert Manfred, what are we doing? If your goal is to set your fan base back generations upon generations, you're doing it successfully. $1 billion, yes, $1 billion with a B, not an M. 20 times more than any other team in the league. 83% of all of the deferral money is beyond the let the teams be scared of the heavyweight, and more going on to being corrupt. $1 billion is enough to buy the whole Miami Marlins franchise. You can buy an entire baseball team just for the amount of deferral money that the Dodgers have. You at home sitting there can buy a whole baseball team. If the MLB is aiming to have a heavyweight team who is the team and wants to watch a dynasty win each year, congratulations, Robert. You're doing it very, very well. It is not the policy of the players that you buy that makes this so bad for the league. It's the policy that a team who has more finances than another team can benefit this much just by being richer, not by being better, not by being coached better, but by that cold, hard cash. That's the policy. The MLB needs to take notes from the NFL. Kaden said it best off the podcast, off of the talk show. Make sure all the teams are balanced to 8-8 like the NFL does. Obviously not 8-8 in our instance. And it has to go off of these metrics: coaching, drafting, and performance, and that's how it should be. And then I have, on my board, I have not your fault, because I don't blame it on the players. If the Dodgers are making it so that you can succeed more as a pitcher and become better and well-known, I don't think that's the players' fault. I think it's the organizations and the MLB's fault as a whole. So why this whole situation is happening, not the players at all.
It's their mindset if they want to take the easy way out, or they want to actually work for a championship and go to a small market team and work and build up that team and like make a legacy for yourself, rather than just going to the best team, getting the easiest championship like Kevin Durant. But I wanted to propose a question. So the current CBA, I think, expires in 2026. I saw someone say that since the CBA, if they're going to fix with a salary cap, it's going to take a very long time. Would y'all trade the 2026 season for a salary cap?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Pretty easy.
And I have a salary cap on
It's hard for me, because like a whole season.
Yeah, I would have to think about it. And going along, I know we've all been saying, like, we want a salary cap. The MLB needs to have a salary cap this whole season. And I was talking with my dad about it, and he kind of brought up an interesting counter argument, basically saying that if the MLB had a salary cap, it would eliminate like the juggernauts of teams. Like it would eliminate the Dodgers, it would eliminate, the Yankees just being able to go out and sign like historically, not right now, historically.
The Chiefs are dominant right now, aren't they? With the salary cap in place.
Yeah.
But
They have
it
Patrick
would
Mahomes.
just
Wait, yeah, it would be about your talent and stuff.
it would eliminate less teams to hate. And think about how much content we've had on this show just hating on the Dodgers. I made a whole video about it. And if we had a salary cap, we would not have like half of our every episode hating on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I still think there should be a counterpoint, a salary cap, but I think that is an interesting, way to look at it, just like from the other point of view. But does anyone have anything else to say on the Dodgers?
He had a speech. He did a speech. I'm so proud. I'm so
Thanks.
proud. It was so good. It was good. Yeah,
Let's go.
And Jordan did ask me off the podcast if I had a certain salary cap in mind. I do.
Oh.
I think, my opinion personally, there should be a floor of $100 million, so you don't end up like the Oakland Vegas Athletics.
There we go.
A soft cap of $300 million and a hard cap at $450 million.
Okay.
I
I like
that.
it.
Yeah.
I like that. And I know how you guys said, Katie said, like the juggernaut teams. That's what you don't want. And that's what the NFL, I think, does best, because you have smaller teams like the Commanders and teams that built up, like the Lions.
The Green Bay Packers are one of the most historic franchises in the NFL.
Yeah,
The Green Bay
you have them
Yeah.
go up in, the Packers become one of the most reputable teams because they're not owned by someone. They're owned by a whole city. They're owned by the public. Juggernaut teams take that away, because you'll have like a Patrick Mahomes-ish team, in the playoffs every single year. I want to see teams like the Athletics make the playoffs. I want to see teams like the White Sox, the Indians, all of them. I think it helps out very well.
Yeah, well, a team that I think we would like to see make the playoffs up next is the Blue Jays. Let's talk about their recent signings that they've made. And
You can start.
okay,
I would love to start. So our host one time said in the group chat, she texted, guys, why are the Blue Jays in the American League? They're not in America. And I think that perfectly embodied whether you watch a ton of baseball or you don't watch much of it at all, everyone wants to know what the hell the Blue Jays are and what they're doing, okay? Because at every level, they're so confusing and so weird, and I love it. I have a theory on what the Blue Jays are doing, because obviously they signed Santander, which is amazing.
Ryan, get ready.
Signed Santander, they're looking for Alonso. I think the Blue Jays are they're just trying to gaslight into being a big market. They're just trying to manifest right now. Like, I think the Blue Jays are currently, they're texting reporters and saying, hey, can you just say we're in the running, so that other players are like, wait, this guy, the Blue Jays almost got this guy, and they're just gaslighting themselves into being a big market. And someday they're going to sign some people because they're going to be like, well, the Blue Jays are always in the running, and they're going to create a super team. And when the salary cap comes in, they're going to manage it perfectly and win 6 World Series in 2020s.
I think they'll sign big names eventually, but the question for that organization is, will it be too late once they do? Because their guys like Vladdy and Bo Bichette, they're of course, Bo Bichette's numbers have been worse over the past few years, and Vladdy, he's still putting up good numbers, but eventually age is going to catch up to a guy.
And they both go into free agency.
Exactly.
After this season.
This team that they're building, they don't. The time clock, the doomsday clock, is about to hit them, and they need to be prepared for it. Getting Santander, I do not think is how you're going to prepare for that. I mean, this guy had, I think, one of the worst averages of career. Yes, he had the most home runs he's ever had in his career. However, if you really look at it, yes, you want home runs, but for me, average is more important. Getting on base is more important. And this was one of Santander's worst years in his career in the MLB.
He had a career high in homers and RBIs, 44 homers.
That's true, but
Yeah.
the average
He actually had a great year this year.
He had a great year.
Good year,
So,
yeah.
I just think that this is still with that being his greatest numbers, I think this is a mediocre pickup. I really do. They needed someone big to help them get over that hump, and I don't think Santander's that guy to help
I
them.
mean, personally, I think it's a pretty good signing. They have a lot of contact hitters in their lineup, and Santander, as we said, he had 44 home runs last year. I think he could provide that, needed pop in the lineup. Is it going to fix all their problems? No, but I think it's a good signing for relatively cheap. I just have one thing to say about the Blue Jays, really quickly, is I just feel bad for their fans.
Yeah.
Do they have
It-
They're
fans?
Canadian.
Yes.
Yeah, do they actually
They're my
have
third
fans?
favorite. They're my third favorite baseball team, actually. So I am a fan.
They're
Third.
my favorite. I love them.
They're my 14th favorite.
Their
I love them
manager
more than you
has-
love them.
Their manager has come out and said that their off-season motto is just to go and check in on everyone. And just imagine being a fan and being like, oh, we're going to get this guy, we're going to get this guy, we're going to get this guy. And then you never get anyone. Because, at this, they said they're in on Scherzer, they're in on Alonso maybe. So
See, with the Alonso thing, I don't know why. For the Mets, I'm thinking in the Mets mindset, because there's a rumor that they want to trade for Vlad. I just don't understand why you would want to trade for Vlad, who has a high trade value and 1 year left, when you could just honestly re-sign Alonso when let's be real, at this point he's not going to get the contract he wants. And so just go ahead and get him, because I think he wants to stay in New York. So just go ahead and get him. Yeah.
I could only think the reason why they want to trade Vlad is because they know they won't be able to get him back, and he'll just go right into the free agency portal. That's why they would want to get
the
him.
Blue Jays do need to trade Vlad.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
can sign him,
They need to
For
trade
the
him.
Mets, I would not pick him up, because it's basically the same player in my mind. Homer, power hitters, Alonso and
Right.
Vlad, they both just hit for power, really.
right.
I agree with you guys, though. I think if the Blue Jays, like Jackson said, they would have to cash in this season for sure if they want to do something going forward, because their numbers are getting a lot older for sure.
I think they do have potential to finish second or third in the East.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
Well, now moving on to our last team that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Mets. They signed A.J. Minter, which is further diminishing the Braves. What does everyone think about this signing?
Yeah, this one hurt me.
What are we
This one
doing?
hurt me. This was
sad.
our I don't know if y'all remember the night shift when our World Series run. Luke Jackson, Will Smith, AJ Minter, and Tyler Matzik. They're all gone. They're all gone now, and it's just a huge loss for us, because we lost him to a division rival first of all, and then I was kind of thinking oh, we might get Tanner Scott to replace that lefty. No, we just lost a lefty completely in our bullpen, and it hurt us bad.
When it is down to signing bullpen names or even rotation names for the Braves, they just cannot do it. They have been making bad decisions after bad decisions when it comes to that rotation. it's not great. I mean, rotation-wise, they're not that great, but Riley, I think there's a good thing that the Braves have done recently.
The Atlanta Braves have finally woken up about, 45 minutes ago, and signed Jurickson Profar to a 3-year, $42 million deal, completing our outfield finally. Whenever Acuna comes back, we got Acuna, Michael Harris, and Jurickson Profar in our outfield. I am ecstatic.
We're
about
winning the
this.
World Series.
I'm ecstatic
It's
about
over.
this.
We have an outfield that isn't 2/3 of the outfield fixed.
I'm
We finally got all
absolutely-
thirds.
So happy about this. Like, we finally did something. It's a great contract, like, great deal, great player. He hit 280 last season. I think he had a career high in homers.
I even
Career high in
looked this up.
homers with 24, 85 RBIs. Just like great player to finish our outfield.
Yeah, I even looked up earlier. He can play infield as well. He can play shortstop and help out.
Put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in.
Put him in. Oh my gosh.
Well, I want to talk about the Mets for a second, since the Mets are the ones that did end up getting A.J. Minter, and what this means for their team. They signed A.J. Minter, they signed Jesse Winker. Obviously, I don't think those two players are
Jesse
really going to
Winker.
aren't going to push them over the edge.
Jesse
But this is where I think the Mets could have a competitive season, not because of the signings they're making. It's that if the players on their team, they have so many good players on their team that are just not performing right now and have not performed in the last few years. They need to get Alonso back. Viento needs to perform like he did in the postseason. Marte needs to have a 300 average season again. He hasn't had that in a long time. Brandon Nimmo had his second worst year last year, and he needs to go back, return to his former self. And same with Jeff McNeil. He consistently had 300-plus average seasons.
McNeil's
and
awful now.
He hit 238 last year.
McNeil,
And then
Alonso.
same with Diaz. He's been going from having a really good year pitching to a terrible year. And so, I mean, if all these players can get back on the right track, which is, very hard for every single player to magically, get better all of a sudden, if they can go back to their former selves, I could see, the Mets actually being a good team this year.
This is perfect because I'm actually just going to talk about AJ Minter. He's very injury prone, isn't he? He hurt his knee.
He
and then
is.
What else did he do? He did something to
I don't know, but like he has been on and off.
He is.
Mets also did pay a decent amount.
They paid a
He's been on and off, but when
Decent
he
amount.
plays, he performs.
I honestly would argue that AJ Minter is the third best player on that team. Absolutely the best pitcher on that team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is
Absolutely.
real sad.
Yeah, hey, AJ.
Real sad.
He started the World Series like AJ. Can you start for the Mets? You need a pitcher.
Hey,
Put him in the rotation at this point. You
Soto's
got
been-
Clay
Yeah.
Holmes already. Go ahead and put him in.
Kind of like Katie's take with, the big guys need to step up a little bit.
Yeah.
The Mets, that lineup, they need consistency. That's something that they haven't had in years, honestly, because their guys are constantly back and forth. That lineup needs consistency. They need to sign Alonso back. That is a must-need because he's not as good as he once was, but you need someone in there. You can't survive with Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. You can't
They
do it.
need a power hitter.
They need a power guy, and they need a first baseman in general. They need someone. But honestly, even if the infield and the outfield was consistent, that rotation needs work badly.
I
That
don't know-
bullpen in the rotation.
I don't even know what they could do.
Yeah.
Minter is
everything
not your solution to fix that.
He's
You're
like-
going
No,
to
he's
need about
not.
C- bullpen pitcher. Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
need like 2 big name signings to fix that rotation.
And there's not even that. There's not even any out there.
There's none left. So this just does not help out the Mets at all. It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
Well, now moving on from some disappointing players, let's talk about some players that have made it into the Hall of Fame. So, Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner
CC.
all reached the necessary 75% support on the Baseball Writers Association of America Hall of Fame ballot, and results revealed Tuesday night on MLB Network. But there were 2 people that, could have been potential snubs, Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltran. I want to know, who do y'all think was the biggest snub between the 2, or maybe y'all have a third option you want to throw in there?
Looking at the stats, this one is close in a way.
I didn't even look
But it's
at.
not.
I didn't even look at the other guy. I only looked at Andrew Jones.
Yeah. See, I went on StatCast, and there's something you can do where you can pair the 2 players, and Carlos Beltran was better in every single category
What is yours?
except
Keep going. I'm sorry.
except for Golden Gloves. Andrew Jones had 10 Golden Gloves, where Carlos Beltran had 3. And then also Andrew Jones only had one less homer, but also had a lot less plate appearances. So, Andrew
I have
Jones
some
probably
of
had the better homer numbers. Now, there's one problem with Carlos Beltran, which I know y'all are all going to want to bring up to me, is that he was a part of 2017 with the Astros.
It was
I
like half
don't-
a season before he retired.
Yeah, it was half a season. These numbers show that he was a great player over his whole career. And I don't want to talk about how many cheaters from the steroid era are in the Hall of Fame right now. Like, obviously,
Honestly, you don't even have to say anything about cheating for Beltran. He had a negative .8 WAR that season. They lost more when he was on the field. So cheating-wise, I don't think it matters.
You know what it makes me think of? It's like cheating at your bachelor party. It's like you spent you did such a good job for such a long time, and then right at the home stretch, you cheat. But it's still messed up. Yeah, it's like you could say, hey, but no, he was such a good fiance for so long. He was such a good player for 20 years. But at the end of the day, he still cheated. I'm not going to do the whole AJ Hinch cheating speech, but the MLB wants to set a precedent that if you cheat, you will not be rewarded. And I think they should hold that up. It's just a slippery slope. Once you say like, well, this cheater cheated when he was 40 and he wasn't contributing, but he was contributing. He's the reason they won. I think he's the biggest reason the Astros won that World Series because he ushered in the cheating and stuff. So yeah, he brought in the scandal. Yeah, so he brought in the scandal. He was contributing. His WAR should be higher because he cheated, but they don't factor that in. And yeah, I think if you come in and you cheat, then we should. I like the blanket statement of just like cheaters are not honored in baseball. I think that's just a better way to do it.
Well,
cheaters are honored in baseball is the problem. There's already cheaters in the Hall of Fame. They didn't take the Astros World Series away. So
They should have, and they should take those players out of the Hall of Fame too. Yeah, but
I get.
no.
See, Andrew Jones, I'm going to argue for him. He's eligible for 2 more years, and I think he has a good chance because his percentage has increased each year. So, I think he'll finally hit the mark. But he's one of the best center fielders in the game to play the game. 10 Gold Gloves in a row. He's third in history in B-WAR with 57.6, which is behind A-Rod, Chipper Jones, and Barry Bonds.
It's a very good crew.
And then his he had a
A-Rod.
24.2 defensive WAR from 98 to 07, and the next closest was 15. So he's just his WAR, his Gold Gloves, it's just his defense should.
Yeah,
really
the greatest
play.
defensive outfielder of all time. Yeah, 10-time Golden Glove winner. I mean, he'd get the ball on third base, and guys would just freeze on third, the easiest tag ups, and they're just like, no, it's Andrew Jones, and yeah, they freeze him all the time.
I think he'll eventually get it though, because
I think so too.
He's been
I'm not that mad he's not
gradually
in.
getting up.
Yeah, I think he'll get this, but just looking at the stats with Beltran, stats don't lie. Beltran had a better career than Andrew Jones did, and even though it was longer, and yes, he does have 1 World Series, but let's be real, he did worse for the team than helped it. So if we really want to look at the cheating, the stats still don't lie. He still had an excellent career and a good one at that. So I still think cheating-wise, there's cheaters in the Hall of Fame. So if he can put up the good numbers when he's not cheating, why not?
I love how you guys went Beltran and you guys went Jones because it gives me the perfect opportunity. Notice how you said lower than our man A-Rod over here?
Yeah.
Um,
He's already in the Hall of Fame.
A-Rod's not in
He
the
is
Hall
not
of
in the
Fame.
Hall
He
of
did
Fame.
not
Serious?
get A-Rod did not
He
get
hasn't
inducted
gotten
into the Hall of
40%
Fame.
votes. He's never gotten 40%.
that's
Let me
real
explain
bad.
to you why A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame.
Steroid. Oh no, I thought you. Yeah. No.
Well,
Yeah, my bad.
He's got
that's
40% votes.
That's
that's
why
the
he's never gotten 40%.
only reason why he's
yeah.
not.
I mean, you can't argue for A-Rod to be in the Hall of Fame if Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame because of steroids, I fear. So,
Yeah.
That's
So, yeah, okay, then
but go, give your argument. Sure.
I'll keep it short and quick. .295 batting average, 696 home runs, 2,086 RBIs, 2,021 runs scored, 10 Silver Slugger awards, 2 Gold Glove awards, only player in MLB history to achieve over 600 home runs, 2,000 runs batted in, 2,000 runs scored, 3,000 hits, and 300 stolen bases.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with the train that Barry Bonds and him should be in the Hall of Fame.
And Roger
I don't
Clemens
care.
too. Yeah.
Sure, I don't
And
care.
Roger
I don't
Clemens.
care about steroids.
Yeah,
I don't care. It's
and
a whole era.
Yeah, everyone
was
was
so
doing
bad,
it in that
yeah.
era, and I mean, obviously, I don't think every team was cheating, but there were so many cheating scandals that came out around the Astros time too. The Astros was obviously the biggest one of them all because they won the World Series. But we could talk about the Red Sox's Apple Watches. We could go on about other different alleged cheating scandals, and so I think in the same way, I think Carlos should be in the Hall of Fame too.
I like the
So-
Rodriguez one. I see steroids and affecting the outcome of the game by cheating as a little bit different and stuff. But I think Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens should definitely be in. I don't know a ton about
Yes.
his career, but
I
from
think
what
the
you
big
just said, it
difference
sounds
for
like it.
me is that steroids is the entire career, whereas the cheating was literally 1/30 something of his career. He played 17 seasons or something, and it was only half of a season.
So, okay, wait, can I?
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to college baseball preseason. I'm going to introduce this and then probably go. But D1 college baseball released their preseason top 10 or top 5. Was it top 5?
They released their top 25, but we're
Okay.
talking about their top 10.
We're talking about top 25. So we are going to be comparing our preseason from earlier to theirs. So D1's top 5 is number 1 Texas A&M, number 2 Virginia, number 3 LSU, number 4 Tennessee, and number 5 Arkansas. Guys, what do y'all have to say, and what were y'all's?
Well, I mean, first we're going to talk about Kaden. So, Kaden, what were your rankings?
Start with mine. I started with LSU, and then my second was Florida State, followed up by Virginia, keeping in the ACC with Duke, and then my 5th one was Oklahoma State. Y'all watch that be right. It's going to be very
Wow.
Okay.
That's a poll.
Well, we
I like it.
made a little game out of this, and we're basically going to compare the top.
I slide in?
Riley,
Peace
we love
out,
you.
Riley.
How does this look? Should I slide in?
Yes.
Yeah, slide in.
Yeah.
Or no, Drew, slide out.
Okay.
That's my phone getting the call.
Okay, so basically,
professional.
Oh, I feel short.
cardboard
I
cutout?
made a little game about this, and I compared D1 baseball's top 5 to our top 5s. And so basically, if you had the team in the same exact spot as D1 baseball, you were awarded 2 points. And if you just had the same team on the top 5 and D1 baseball also had the same team on the top 5, you got 1 point. So with that, Kaden, you just said your rankings. He had, let's see, I think he had LSU on it, and then Virginia was also on it, which no one else had. So go you. So you were awarded 2 points for your rankings.
I'm first so far, right?
What?
I'm in first place so
Yeah,
far.
you're in
All right.
first
You are in first place so far.
Yeah, sweet. Great. All right,
Go
bet.
you. Okay. Now, Drew,
Yes.
what were your rankings?
So I put Arkansas at the 1, I put LSU at 2, Tennessee at 3, I put Clemson in at 4, and then I put UNC in at 5 as a little underdog.
Yeah, well, I think you had LSU, Arkansas, and Tennessee right. They were all in the wrong spots,
your
though,
face.
and honorable mentions sadly do not count for any points.
I don't like sitting next to
So
you.
I think that's moving Kaden into second place now, and Drew, you're in first place with 3 points.
I'm not willing to
Let's
tear up
burn.
if I'm just
Okay, so now moving on
This is so
to my
uncomfortable.
preseason rankings that I had. I had A&M at number 1. I thought this year was going to be their revenge year. You know, their head coach left, went to go coach for UT. They picked up a lot of good players in the transfer portal, a lot of good recruits, and so I had them at number 1. Then I had LSU, Tennessee. They won the World Series last year. Then I had Arkansas and Mississippi State. I was very proud of myself. I had A&M in the right spot, and then I had the next 3 correct. The only thing is that on D1 baseballs, they were all shifted down. So I had 1 in the correct spot and 3 others right. So I had 5 total points.
Hey.
Now, Kaden.
That's why she wanted to do a game. I got you.
There we go.
All right.
Okay,
It
Jackson,
makes sense.
What was yours?
So mine consisted of course, I think A&M, the perennial favorite to get first place for especially the preseason and to finish out on top. So that was my number 1 choice. My number 2 choice was Florida. I kind of see them having a bounce back year and really making a splash in the SEC and even making it to Omaha. And then I have probably my trickiest one is NC State making a big splash in the ACC. I think they can pull it off, and I think they'll be a sneaky team to sneak under the radar, make it to the ACC championship, possibly even beat Clemson, which I have on this list at number 5, and possibly make it to Omaha. I really do think that it's a possibility for that team to sneak in undetected. Tennessee was a no-brainer. I still think they're a fantastic team. Yes, they won it last year, but recently teams have a tendency to drop recently in the following season. So I had them dropping off a little bit. Still kept them top 5, but I think that World Series bug will kind of hit them. And then, of course, I went with the hometown favorite, Clemson Tigers. I put them at 5. I think they're a fantastic baseball team, but I still don't think that they are top 4. I don't think that they are top 4. I don't think they're top 3, but they are a very good
Top 2?
team.
Top 1?
Yeah, D1 baseball had Clemson ranked at number 14 too, I believe, which I think personally is a bit low. I think they should be
it's fair.
ranked a lot higher.
That's a rob.
I would split the difference between theirs and yours. I would say.
A lot of the other
a rob.
polls had Clemson ranked around like 8 or 9. I think one even had them at like 4 or something. But
That's a little
D1
high.
baseball is like
I would've been around
usually
those.
known as the most notable source. So
Yeah.
that's just what we went with. But okay, let's tally up your points. So you had A&M in the right spot, and you had Tennessee in the right spot. So that is a total of 4 points. It says 3 on the screen. My bad.
He literally robbed me.
I can't do math, but he had 4 points, but I fear I had 5 points, so I still won. So next slide.
What is this?
The winner is.
What is this?
I swear I made this.
Yeah.
I swear, guys, I made this whole segment before I knew that I won, and now it looks like really narcissistic, especially since I'm like hosting it too.
God, such a
This is so awkward right now.
This was not planned.
Wait,
but,
didn't you win last time too, or was that Riley?
I won last time. No.
I
Katie
just
won
know
last time?
I didn't lose. I know y'all lost.
Oh, you won last time too?
I know. I don't know if I did. Y'all two lost.
Zach said, yeah, you
Yeah,
won
Zach
last
said.
time.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Zach
won?
just said you won.
Shout out Zach in the back.
I'm sorry,
Thank you,
guys.
Zach.
This isn't planned. This
You've been
isn't
saying
planned.
Zach in the back. I like that a lot. Shout
I
out
know.
Zach in the
Yeah,
back.
Zach in the
I
back.
know, right?
Zach in the back. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll use that in the outro,
Yeah.
Zach, in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that about wraps it up. I think the only other thing I want to touch on really quickly is that none of us thought that UVA was going to be in the top 5 except for Kaden. Like, I did not see them being 2 at all. So I'm really excited to see how that performed. After I saw these rankings come out, I did some quick research. They got a lot of people in the transfer portal. They have some good freshmen coming in. So I don't know. I'm excited to see.
I did have an
how that
ACC
turns
team.
out.
I did have a little ACC team coming in there pulling a really big splash. I guess I had the wrong one, but
I had 3 ACC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duke.
Nice.
Well, guys, I think we just did it.
Yeah.
I think this might
lost
be
2
our,
people.
Nope, that's
Shortest
not what I'm talking
episode.
about.
Oh.
I'm thinking this is our shortest episode ever.
We did it.
We are
did
coming
it.
in at a little over 30 minutes because I started it late, but I know that our shortest ever one right now is 35 minutes.
wow.
So yeah, well before we
What was
go
the
over,
35-minute one?
it was the one when Riley wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, she talks. When she's not here,
Let's
it's
talk for
Oh.
Kate, do a speech. Do a
No,
good speech.
no.
Wait, no. When it
look.
comes to episodes getting long-winded, we found a common denominator. We know whose fault it is now.
Blame it on
It's been such a mystery on who's making the episode so long. Now we know. Yeah.
Well, anyway, before we do not achieve this record of shortest episode, that is a wrap on today's show. We will return next week with more rumors, preseason stats, and breaking news. Thank you, as always, to Zach in the back and our panelists for stepping up to the plate. Catch you next time on Touching All Bases.
Woo! Cut away. We did it.